Katie on the couch. It's Katie on the couch.
Hi, welcome to Katie on the Couch. I'm Katie Nicole, and here on my couch, we talk to people from all walks of life about confidence, body image, self-esteem, and provide tips and insights from their experience to give to you. So take a cuppa and enjoy. Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Katie on the Couch. You can see that I'm in the virtual world today. I'm on my couch, and you can see that I have the beautiful Jaelith Leigh Brown on stage with me today, sitting on my couch to have a chat about all things confidence, body image. She's actually specifically a teenage and children's confidence coach, which is absolutely wonderful to hear, because to get younger people involved in this kind of movement is absolutely fantastic. She's about to hit 40 later on this year in November, so that's a big milestone for her. She's a former journalist, so she's done radio and TV shows and presented the news. She's a lover of life. She's somebody who absolutely adores life, and what I love that she wrote in her bio to me, she tries her best to high-five the low points in life because they give her clarity, focus, and strength. She loves writing books, and she's got plenty more to come out of her yet. So please welcome to Katie's Couch today, Jaelith. Hello.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So welcome. It's an absolute pleasure. I'm absolutely stoked to have you here today on the couch. And first of all, you're calling. We're having a conversation across many different continents. Where are you today?
I am in a little village in Yorkshire in the UK. So tucked away in the countryside, and if you're lucky you may hear a tawny owl, because I have a tawny owl right outside my window in my office.
Amazing. And just, the beautiful power of technology bringing us together. It's now 10 p.m. at night in Yorkshire.
It is.
And it's 7 in the morning. So I'm having my first cuppa of the day to say well, and Jaelith is probably getting ready to settle down into bed at some point.
Definitely. My children are all tucked up in bed. My husband's checking on them. So yeah, once they're awake, I can go to sleep.
That's exactly right. And my whole household is asleep, so I'm hoping I don't wake anybody up. But this is part of the fun. I love it. Good time zone. So again, thank you so much. I would love to know, you've lived such a rich life already. I would love to know what brings you here. What brings you here to have this conversation today on the couch?
Yeah, well, like you say, I've had so many things happen in my life, and when you look back, hindsight is a wonderful thing. So yeah, we met, didn't we, in a group, because obviously we're so committed to helping people love who they are and follow their own passion, and just to sort of shed all of those negative doubts, the self-talk, everything like that. Just be who you want to be and be happy being you. So we connected in that way. And I mean, I've spent over a decade coaching women in particular, just helping them go for their dreams and love who they are. And in that time I was coaching them, every single one of them had issues from being a child. So something had been said to them, just one thing in some of their cases, which had really knocked their confidence, their self-worth, and they hadn't been able to let it go. So more recently I've been coaching children and teenagers, because that's the key part for me. That's the crunch of when this negative doubt, the self-doubt, the self-talk can kick into place.
Very much so. It's so important. I mean, you're right. I coach women all the time. That's what I do. I coach women, and you're right. Every single time we have a conversation, I was just talking to one of my interviewees yesterday, and they said that they had a moment as a child where their dad very playfully would pat her tummy and say, "What have you got under there? Is that a watermelon?"
Yeah.
And even though he didn't mean it maliciously, he didn't put it there. She took that forever. And has taken on that in her life and had to actually overcome it. This watermelon remark, she was 4 when it happened, and carried it for forever. So I love that you're deciding to go ahead and actually help those kids and teenagers when it's happening, because that's the most important part.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, it's not just the men that are making these comments. Just last week, I was a mum got in touch with me, and she said there were 6-year-old girls in a school, and one of the mums had made a comment where the girls could hear saying, "Bye, they're putting on weight, aren't they?" And it was a fellow mum, and you just thought, what is that doing to them? But yeah, you mentioned obviously the tummy. I'm 40 in November, as you picked up, so I think I'm hitting the perimenopause. And it was time of the month for me recently. My 6-year-old came up to me and said, "Mummy," and jiggled my tummy, said, "Where's that come from?" so, so you do. So we get it from all walks, and we get it from, unfortunately, the people who are supposed to love us the most.
Yes. And you know what's really interesting about that is that as a kid, the kid isn't placing any judgment on that.
No.
You know, it's us and our preconceived ideas and society tell, you know, the mum saying to the 6-year-old, or, you know, getting overheard to say that,
yeah,
putting on weight. It's like, well, aren't 6-year-olds meant to? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
You know, aren't they
Yeah.
right? Yet we have these judgments on being big. It's still such a taboo thing that growing big, that being a shape that isn't tiny is considered a bad thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I used to dance from the age of 3 right up until sort of I was 20. So I appeared in lots of shows, and I was never the skinny dancer, the skinny, beautiful ballerina. I was never that person. And I remember one comment to me was, "Why, you've got rugby players' legs. You should play rugby, not dance." Yeah. And I just turned it back and said, "Well, they're strong. So they're strong in the tones. Thank you very much. So I'll take that as a compliment."
Yeah. And you know, what I'm hearing from you there is the ability to be able to teach our kids and our teenagers and us as adults resilience. So
yeah.
Because people are going to shit on you. That's part of life. And particularly when you're climbing a ladder, whatever the ladder that happens to be, the bigger that we get, the more people are going to try to shit on you. It's part of life. And the resilience to be able to go, when someone says, "Oh, you know, your thighs are huge," just like, "Aren't they amazing? God, they're strong." So to be able to do that, I think is a wonderful flip. And a great way to do your language. Fantastic. So tell me a bit about your story. I've got, you know, you had yourself down as a teenager, which led you to be in poor relationships where you know, they cheated on you, treated you like crap.
Yeah.
You could have made the decision that you wouldn't ever make anyone else feel like that way, and so you went into self-help. You studied various things from NLP, neurolinguistic programming, psychology, fitness and coaching, and it's kind of led you to where you are now. Tell us a bit about your story.
Yeah, I mean, you've hit the key parts really, and it's only, like I say, looking back, you realise that the times in your life when you just absolute hit rock bottom are the times in your life where you are the strong person that you don't think you are. So looking back, I would not change any of that at all. I would absolutely live it all again, no matter how hard it was. But yeah, teenage girl, your typical teenage girl. Everybody in my eyes were prettier than me, skinnier than me, more clever, more talented. And as much as I did well at school, I ended up in a relationship, and a few relationships where I was cheated on all the time. And I would look around and think, I just assumed that it was me. There was something wrong with me, and I carried that through my life really. And as much as I've done the coaching, the NLP, there are still times when I think, you have those dips and you think, it's me, what am I doing wrong? And that whole negative self-talk can kick in. But yeah, I mean, I followed my dreams. I did what I was supposed to do, did well at school, worked very hard, got quite ill working hard, didn't sleep. Got the dream job that everybody wanted me to have, including myself, working on the radio and interviewing celebrities, living an amazing life. And I wasn't happy. Yeah. And I just thought, you know what? This is not me. And you hit rock bottom. And I think when you hit rock bottom, there is truly only one way up. Basically, you've got to scramble out of that. So for me, I just became fascinated in self-help and realised it was my thoughts and how I felt about myself that was really keeping me down. So as much as those people in my past had hurt me, said mean things, made me feel like crap, it was me that kept on repeating that story. So it was up to me to change it. So I gave up the job and studied what I wanted to do. And despite everybody saying, "Ooh, you're giving up a really secure job. Ooh, what happens if this happens? What happens if this happens?" I just plodded on and started to listen to myself for a change instead of everybody else.
Oh, I love that. I think that there's so many people don't have the courage to do that because we're too busy telling ourselves the story. I love that you mentioned that, you know, I was just working with a client yesterday and you know, that they had 2 really great weeks between us talking, and then we talked again. Some big stuff came up, and the following 2 weeks were crap.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, I don't know what happened, you know, just taking a slide. And as it came out, and it may have seemed harsh at the time, but they stopped taking responsibility. They stopped realizing that it's their life, man. This is yours. Like, no one's making, for you, no one was making you be a radio TV presenter. No. You know,
no. And it wasn't, and I realised that, I thought, as looking back at the relationships in particular, I thought I was obviously attracting the guys who didn't think I was worth anything because I didn't think I was worth anything. So I was absolutely attracting like for like. So, I mean, I've got clients and I say to them, look, if you want a relationship where you're loved and you want this happy life, do you love yourself? Do you enjoy spending time with just yourself? Because if you don't, you're not going to get those guys that you want. So just forget about them and start to do what makes you happy first and foremost, and get to know yourself. And that's what I did. On that journey, I got to know everything that I was rubbish at, everything that I thrived at, everything that I wanted to do, how I liked to look, what I wanted my obituary to say. I did all the exercises so that I could really get to know me and what I wanted to do. So that gave me the confidence when somebody said, oh, but that could go wrong. And I would say, so what? If it goes wrong, I would rather know, rather than lying on my deathbed thinking, I wish I'd tried that. So
nobody lies on their deathbed thinking, man, I wish I stayed in that shit job longer.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish that I kept being with people who cheated on me. That would be amazing. Nobody wants that. That's
absolutely
not standard. And you know, and I love that. One of the things that I teach my clients as well, straight off the bat, is you have to get to know yourself. People say, oh, but I don't like who I am. And then so I go, okay, cool. Well, who are you?
Yeah.
It draws a blank. I don't know. Okay, well, we got to start there, because how do you expect to like somebody, let alone love somebody who you don't even know?
Exactly.
It's
and I dug this out for the interview. This little book.
What
is this? This is the little book that I wrote when I was at rock bottom. So, and it says at the front page, this is the start of a new you that is happy, positive, confident, and easygoing. Inside here are all the dreams you want to achieve, so go for them. You only get one life, so do the best you can to make the most of it.
Wow.
So I was a teenager, and I've written who I admired, how I liked to look, what I wanted to achieve. And do you know what? I never ever thought I could do what was in this book, but I've got so many ticks for what I wanted. And that's how it started, this little notebook that I bought in a shop when I hit rock bottom, think, this is my new story. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. We have all got the power to change who we are and to get to write and decide on who we want to be.
Yep, I love that. Thank you for sharing the amazing quote that I posted recently somewhere on social media, that you can't write the new chapter until you've stopped reading the old one.
Yeah.
We spend so much time rereading, going over the old stuff, and that's why I love coaching and NLP, because it's so much about future-based. It's how do we change? Sure, we recognize why we do what we do, but it's not anywhere near as important of how do we change it. Like, story over and over again. I just want to get on with changing it. So tell me, Jaelith, I'm really curious, in your words, for you, what is self-love?
Self-love, it keeps on coming up for me, self-acceptance. In order to love who you are, you've got to accept yourself as a whole. So I used to use the things that I was not good at as kind of sort of ammo for myself, really. So I think for me, it's to be whole and to accept all of my faults, all my flaws, my weaknesses as one, and still like who I am. So being able to look in the mirror and think, I still want to be me.
Yeah. Interesting that you say ammo. What do you mean by ammo?
Well, it's just like I say, you can get into the habit of automatic thinking, and for me, even now, despite everything I know, there are still times, I call them the wobbles. You can still have a wobble where it's like, yeah, it's like somebody's actually got, I mean, my 6-year-old is obsessed with Nerf guns. I don't know if you know these Nerf guns that fire out foam bullets.
Yep.
It's like somebody's shooting these foam bullets in your head. You're not good enough. You can't do this. You're so rubbish at that. Bang, 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 bang. And that's what it is. It's the ammo. It's that negative chit chat that constantly can stand out and be really, really loud. And it's automatic. So it's taking that time of thinking, hang on, stop this. I can change the record here. So yeah, and it is. I mean, each wobble I've had over the years, it's all been down to me. And it's that little ammo, the little mind monkeys, whatever you want to call them, that you start to listen to and you start to believe.
Yes, definitely. So then what do you do in those times when it does come? I think that, and I mentioned this before in a couple other episodes, that what a lot of people misconstrue self-love and self-acceptance for is that we are bulletproof, that we always feel that way about ourselves. But in those moments of self-doubt, in those moments where the ammo is being hit, the mind monkeys, what are some tips and strategies that people could use in order to help overcome that? How do you keep going?
Yeah, first and foremost, recognise that the mind monkeys are there and that it's not the truth. Yeah, so first and foremost, recognise it. Another technique I used to use as a teenager is an elastic band. So popped an elastic band on my wrist, and every time I thought something negative about myself, I used to ping it.
Yeah.
As I said, it was better to have that little flicker of pain instantly as opposed to a lifetime of pain thinking those thoughts over and over again. So the elastic band. Now I meditate, and if I do not meditate every day, I can feel it. So the meditation, and that's the teenage girls I've coached, absolutely love meditating. And it's quite funny because the teachers are saying to me, you'll never get 30 girls in one class all quiet and meditating. And sure enough, I did. The teachers came in the class, it was deadly silent, the girls were all chilled out meditating, and it works. So yeah, meditation. I do daily yoga, and again, if I don't do my exercise, I can really feel it. Getting outside.
Mentally and emotionally, you can notice the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. If I go a week without yoga or my exercise, I can feel the tension and the stress rising, and I find that I'm very snappy and I'm very grumpy and I'm very negative straight away. So that's kind of my to-do every day self-care package. Gratitude, you've probably talked about this a lot. Every single night before bed, even with my kids, what are we grateful for today? Just tell me 1 to 3 things. I mean, I lie in bed most nights and I go through 10 things as I'm falling asleep. What am I grateful for? But yeah, with my kids, we do at least 1 to 3. Self-care. I have been terrible when it comes to sleep. I always just try and go on and on and on and on. And again, if you don't have your sleep, then you haven't got control of your thoughts, because it's like putting the sunglasses on and the whole world looks dark. So you haven't got that capacity or the capability to actually recognize that what you're thinking is because you're maybe tired. So taking a nap when you need it, giving yourself a break, letting things go, really. Just thinking, I've had enough. So however you can do that. As a teenager, I used to write things down that were really bothering me and scrumple it up, and I get a great pleasure in just going, ugh, and putting it in the bin and burning it if it's safe to do so. Anything that's sort of visually letting go. And what's my other one? Also, diet. I found that, especially for my eldest boy who's 8 and myself, if I have a diet or a time, say Christmas time, when you get chocolates and things, if I have quite a lot of sugar, because I don't normally eat that much sugar, again, that can really affect how I perceive myself and others.
Definitely, because it's so mood based. You know, you have a high, amazing, and then you crash. And I think that when we don't pay attention to that, we miss out on it. We don't realize that it's happening all the time, but it is.
Yeah.
That up
yeah.
So so many goal things in there. Letting go was probably one of the biggest things that I had to do. So much so, I don't know if it's going to be backwards. But
Oh yeah, wow. Yeah.
it says, relax, let go, and celebrate. I can turn my
Brilliant.
literally a tattoo reminder. I had this moment probably, it's gone 4 years ago now. I was in San Francisco. I'd planned this amazing holiday for my 30th birthday. We'd gone to Vegas and the Grand Canyon and all around like Tahoe, a big road trip, 3 weeks around the west coast of America. And we get to San Francisco, and I'd booked all the accommodation in advance. We get to San Francisco, and we're in a camper van, and we arrive, and we're really far out of town. And I didn't realize that we're so far out of town. I'd never been to San Francisco before. And what I'd noticed, Jaelith, was that I had a big moment because I didn't want to stay there. I had this, I want to stay there because I wanted to be in the town. I wanted to be in the center of San Francisco. And we had to solve this problem on the spot of how do we actually get to somewhere, and et cetera, et cetera. I sorted it all out. It was a bit of a drama, but I sorted it out at the time. But I noticed that I carried around that stake like a cross. I actually had this visual of, as I was walking around, I was holding and it was a cross, like an X, not a Jesus cross at this point in time. I was carrying it on my back as if I was burdened, and everything that I touched moving forward turned negative. And when I looked behind me on all the good things that I'd done on the holiday, all the amazing things that I'd planned, and it was successful, all of a sudden all those ticks were turning into crosses. And just the thinking of being, I'm horrible, the bullets, the ammo, I'm horrible, I make mistakes, I suck. All of a sudden, all the good things were negated, and all the bad things were amplified. And forgiving yourself is something that's massive. How do you think that you've sort of come to a point where you've been able to accept your mistakes or your failures? Because I know that's a big one for people.
Yeah, I think it's two ways really. The letting go, what I do is I visualize it, tying it. I just lie down, think of what I need to let go, and I visualize tying it to a balloon and it floating off in the distance, getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Right.
And then there's also, you've probably heard of it, the Hawaiian meditation, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce because I know I'll do it wrong. But yeah, that's it. Yeah. So you just visualize people in a line who have hurt you in the past, who you need to forgive, including yourself, and you go down the line one by one. I love you, I forgive you, I'm sorry. In whatever order, just boom, 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 boom. And that was one of the most challenging things I've ever done, but one of the most powerful things I've ever done. And I always end with me in that line.
Yeah, and so that's great when you've kind of got the time to sit down and do it. When it happens in the moment, you might be at work, you're with the kids, you're in a situation where you can't take the time to just stop. Do you have a 5-second tip that we can do to just stop and not have to wait until shit gets crazy in our head? Yeah.
If things are going wrong and you know that you could escalate down that negative path, and there's actually two things, and it's both are just about stopping. So the first one, I had a realization just this week. Do you know the really cheesy MC Hammer song where he says stop hammer time? Yeah. Randomly that popped into my head just this week, and I said to the kids, stop happy time. And that's all I did. So it's like stop happy time, and then you start to think of the music, and it just distracts you for long enough to start and jiggle to the MC Hammer dance. So that's what I've started to do recently. But there's another one where you just either say release, 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 release over and over in your head until you feel better, or I count down from 17 seconds. And if that doesn't work, I keep on repeating it. So I'll start with 17 and then I just go backwards to 1. And it's just that distraction to stop you in your tracks, because that's all it is. It's stopping you in your tracks, realizing. And there's also the golden thread breath. I don't know if you've tried that before.
No, did you?
Where it's a yoga breath, and I used to teach yoga. Well, I teach yoga to children, but I used to do sort of yoga for pregnant women. Yeah. So I did it in that, and I used it in my labours. It's basically just shutting your eyes, taking a long, deep breath, and imagining a golden ribbon is coming out of your mouth, and it's taking you to whatever destination you want to be. Absolutely. So it's just controlling your breath. So in my labour, I imagined it was bringing me to my healthy, happy baby. When my kids now, who are 6, 8 and 4, are screaming, it could be the time of the month, I'm feeling flabby, I just imagine that I'm on a beach in Hawaii. So that's all it takes.
And I love what you're saying there. What were you saying about the stopping, the happy time, the taking you somewhere else, 17 seconds?
Yeah.
NLP, you would be familiar with this term about scratching the record.
Yeah.
We have this old record that plays over and over and over again in our head, and it's so important to be able to be aware that it's playing, because we're generally so busy and we're so distracted. We don't actually, funnily enough, there's so much going on in here, we can't actually hear it.
Yeah.
Easy. We can only hear slivers of it. If we actually can be aware of what's happening in our head and stop it somehow, stop the record, scratch the record. So you can do 17 seconds, if you blow the thread, if you stop happy time, which I love, I'm totally going to use that. Then you scratch the record, and all of a sudden the old pattern that has been playing can't anymore, and you've just taught your ego how to retrain your thinking.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Talking of scratching the record, I noticed it was when my kids were really little and we were a toddler group, and the kids were going mental, absolutely off the wall, and the mums just were looking, thinking, what can we do? And I actually said, I'm a bit woo-woo, is it a full moon? Is something happening where all these kids are going crazy? And one of the mums went up to the CD player. She was an older mum. She'd had obviously older kids, and she just played a chill out, relaxing song. And immediately they changed the mood like that. They all started to do that. And so the power of music is really good. And if my kids are fighting, if they're refusing to get ready on a morning for school, some days I'll just go up and put on what I call my power song. So I will have a sort of playlist on my iPod, and I can choose the song that suits the mood and play that, and it can change their mood in an instant. So if you're in the right frame of mind, then music can also help.
100%. My beautiful partner over my lifetime, whenever I'm feeling down the dumps unnecessarily, when the bullets are coming and I'm just ugh, that's kind of how I describe it, like, just come on, get over yourself kind of deal. They'll put on Barbie Girl by Aqua. And he goes nuts, and he doesn't know any of the words, but he stomps around pretending that he's Ken, and then he makes me be Barbie. And
there you go.
It's to get over yourself and be silly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That power of, if you want to change your state, if you want to move from something, put on the stupid song. And what I often find when he first puts it on, I resist it, Jaelith.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. And then I'm like, I'm a Barbie girl. And I just start going crazy eventually, but I resist it in the beginning, but so powerful.
Definitely.
So tell me now, you've obviously gone from having certain beliefs about yourself when you were younger, to sort of changing your life quite dramatically, being successful, but then not happy so dramatically. What do you now believe about yourself? What are some of your core beliefs?
My core beliefs all the time, it is good to be me, and that's what I've turned into my business, because I look in the mirror and think, would I want to be that person or not? And no matter what's happening, like I mentioned earlier, I am still happy being me. So that's one of them. I also believe, because obviously I've had hindsight and looked back to the difficult times, a brilliant one for me at the moment is everything is always working out for me. So I don't have to panic. I don't have to have the right answers. I don't have to be this perfect person. Everything's just as it's meant to be. Everything's working out for me. So that's a really powerful one, because it's as if I've got this team of superheroes behind me who are egging me on and going, come on, you can do it, because they can see where I am in my life, and I'm obviously not see the big picture. So so they're two really powerful ones. Also the fact I am loved, because I don't have to be loved by my husband or my kids, because if you are a mum, you know what it's like. The days they go, Mummy, I hate you. I don't have to rely on them to love me, because I do absolutely love who I am. warts and all. So yeah, and it's taken a long time. It doesn't happen every single day, but I think you also accept that nobody's perfect. Everybody has ups and downs. And if you can absolutely look in the mirror and just smile and be happy with what you've got and what you're doing, I think that's it for me, yeah.
100%. I think that feeling that everything's happening in my favour.
Yeah, definitely.
Even when shit hits the fan, because, again, like I said before, it will. It's life. Even for myself, a hell of a month, from relationships breaking down to cars dying to garage doors breaking to phones dying, like a whole bunch of crazy stuff has gone down in my life. And followed by a speeding ticket a couple of days ago because I was rushing. But to me, it's all working in my favour. So it's crap. The speeding ticket the other day reminded me that I've been rushing.
Yes.
This perfect example to say, hey, Katie, look, you're not going to become aware of it yourself, but those flash of the camera, well, thank you very much for the lesson that you just taught me, albeit expensive.
Yeah.
A bloody good lesson, There's always something working in my favour. It's funny, I think people in the personal development world, you've heard of The Secret, right? The power of the law of attraction. Yeah. And people think the law of attraction is, I'm going to sit there and wait for the check in the mail. If I just focus on a check in the mail for millions of dollars, then I'm going to get a check in the mail. To me, the law of attraction works, but not that way.
Yeah.
It'll always give you what you need in order to prepare you for what you asked for.
Yeah.
So, when you want more patience, the universe doesn't give you more patience, it gives you more traffic.
Yeah.
It gives you more opportunities to practice patience, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's how the world works. It's, it'll always give you exactly what you need, not exactly what you want.
And that's why I high-fived them. I told my husband I was doing a gratitude challenge, and it was one of the exercises in there. And it was, you just high-five whatever comes your way, no matter how bad it is, high-five it. And he thought I'd lost my marbles that whole week, but it was brilliant. So yeah, the kids were throwing confetti, glitter, you name it, everything was chucked all over the house. I was high five to that. It gives me the opportunity to do teamwork and get a clean house. so yeah, you just gotta high five it.
High five the low points. I think that's not. I'm actually going to turn that into a quote card, and I will credit you. That's amazing. I love that. How do you reinforce those beliefs? So that belief that you have about yourself, that it's great to be you, that you love yourself. How do you reinforce that? And obviously you do your yoga and you look after yourself and you have gratitude.
Yeah, it's the gratitude, the success journal. So my little pink notebook that I started, I still do that, and I will read through it whenever I've hit a low point. Sometimes I'll look through it. I've also got into emotional freedom techniques, or tapping. So I try and do that once a week as well, and I will repeat those for myself. And I've got an office, you can't see behind me, but I've got a little Christmas card, a little washing line. So the types of lines that you put your Christmas cards on, I've got little cards made up that I've made myself of the beliefs that I want to have regularly. So it's just a case of seeing them visually, repeating them, and when you do get down, going to the tips and tools that work for you. Because I was telling the girls just recently, I could give them a whole host of tips and techniques that would pick them up, but some of them would roll their eyes in despair and think, oh my goodness, I'm not going to listen to that song, I can't stand it. And so I was teaching them, it depends on how you feel in that given moment, and if you can go for the next best feeling, that's what you want to aim for in every situation, the next best feeling. So there's some days I could face and think, oh, I've got to do my affirmations. I can't bear to do affirmations if I'm having one of those days. It would just wind me up. So yeah, so in those moments, it's kind of picking what I know would work for me and make me feel better in that particular moment in time.
It's about having a really big toolkit. So
yes.
Because a self-love job isn't the same every day. You're right.
No.
Some days where me sitting there going, all the certainty I need is within me now, pisses me off. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh no, because it's crap. So you have to then go, okay, cool. Well, then maybe I need to meditate now in order to help me. Maybe go for a walk. It's about having a really big toolkit to be able to then know which one, or just try them out.
Exactly. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What about this spanner? There you go. That one works. so on and so forth.
And I think it's just about practice. So I've got them written down, but what we've done with previous clients, I've got just an old jam jar, and they've popped in a little post-it note of what works for them. So if they're having a really bad time, they just go to the jam jar and they pick it out and say, try this, no, try this, yes, that might work. And it's just going through it methodically. So with practice, you'll get to the stage where you can think, how am I feeling? How do I want to feel? Right, this is what makes me feel that way. And it's also forgiving yourself. So you're human, just sort of chilling out a little bit and thinking, I don't have to be this happy-go-lucky, self-loving person all the time. So it's high-fiving the bad times, because they give you clarity. They give you so much more power and strength than you realise. And when I first got into teaching happiness, I would really beat myself up if I woke up and I was tired and grumpy.
Oh.
It was like, what? I expected that I needed to sleep with a coat hanger and constantly smile like this all the time. And I just said to people, that's not realistic. So I'm authentic, I'm truthful. If I've had a bad day, I'm going to tell you I've had a bad day, and I'm going to tell you the exact steps. Sometimes it could be 10 steps to go through just to feel better, but at least I'm doing it in the here and now, than, like you say, carrying that big heavy burden around with me for maybe a month or 2 months or longer.
Yes, and I also think that, you know, allowing the sadness or the emotion that isn't happy, you know, for a long time, saying, you know, being a coach and being responsible, that I always felt I had to manage my state. I always had to, you know, if I felt bad and I wanted to feel good, I should do something about it. Sometimes for me, Jaelith, doing something about it is sitting on the couch all day, watching trashy TV. Sometimes that's the self-care that I need.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I allow myself that, I'll get to a point where I want to get off the couch. Like, but if I resist the couch, if I resist it for so long, then I just fall into a heap, and it becomes then this, I'm now guilty for sitting on the couch. So, man, do what you need to do. Allow the space for the emotion to be. You'll get back up. I think that's where
Definitely
don't trust themselves enough to get back up, but that's because they've never allowed themselves to actually feel the emotions that they need to feel.
And I think younger kids can teach us so much about managing state. Absolutely. My little 4-year-old girl, she had something today where one of the boys said something to her and she wasn't happy. And boy, did she let them know. And it was like, that is not right. Boom, screaming. But we just let her get it out. And I teach that. It's like having a backpack, and you've got a choice. Do you want to stuff this emotion down deep in your backpack and then pile loads more on top of it so it'll become explosion and really damaging, or do you want to just deal with it and let it out in the moment? And sometimes that's the best thing. So she was yelling, kicking, shouting, and then 5 minutes later they were happily playing again. So
let it out in the moment, and I suppose
let it out.
We then learn how to resourcefully let it out, because obviously when we're at work, perhaps going nuts and kicking and screaming and swearing at our boss maybe isn't the most but learning how to set healthy boundaries to go, that's been crossed, I need to express myself. A really hard time being assertive and saying what they mean, but when every time that we don't call someone out when they've crossed our boundary, we're hurting ourselves.
Definitely.
100%. So tell me, if you could give yourself at any age some advice, what would it be, and at what age would you give it?
That's a very good question. I think probably it would have to be 11-year-olds, because that's secondary school, so that's the time when you start to really compare yourself to others. And I think the advice would be just appreciate who you are, love yourself, appreciate who you are. That's it.
Yep.
I think, and that's what I've been telling the girls. Everybody's unique. Everybody's got special gifts. Stop comparing yourself to others. Just be happy being you, because you are good enough.
And you can't be anybody else.
No.
You know, part of my journey of self-hate was that I desperately wanted to be someone else. So, you know, I always wanted to have blonde curly hair. And I have brown straight hair. My mum let me bleach it, but she wouldn't let me bleach and perm it, because it would do so much damage to my hair. It would just be bad. So I either had to be blonde with straight hair or brown with curly, and I didn't like either of those things. And but I have brown straight hair, so love. And you know what? It's so funny. The people with curly hair in my life would kill. Like this is how I woke up this morning. This is how I got out of bed. And people, it's like, just love what you've got. Love the fact that your DNA is so unique that, and it's 1 in 4 trillion chance that you would be here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You are a miracle that we even exist. I would
Definitely.
love to know, before we go, I would love to know who you follow. What books do you love? Who inspires you? What are some of your key books or key people?
Yeah, I've got. Do you know what? My husband was laughing at me. He said, "You have read so many books over the years. I'm just constantly just binge on self-help books and psychology books." I always used to joke I would be the Geordie, because I'm from a place called Newcastle, and it's the Geordie lingo. I always used to joke when I was a teenager I would be the Geordie Oprah Winfrey. So I could probably say Oprah Winfrey is amazing because she's not your stereotypical skinny, blonde, successful person that's held up on a pedestal. She's human. She's got flaws. She goes for what she wants. She doesn't stand any nonsense. And she's real. So she's very, very much an inspirational role model for women everywhere, I would say.
Okay.
And you know what? I would say it's my mum and my auntie. It's got to be those people closest to you, and I truly believe that the people around you give you the greatest lessons. My mum's one of 9 children.
Wow.
She's got 6 brothers. She is one tough cookie.
It's hectic. I grew up in 5, a family of 5, and that was
9 in the family. So maybe I should say my grandma, but she died unfortunately before I was born. But to think that you can sort of fend for yourself basically with 6 brothers.
There's no you don't cruise around and go, my parents didn't give me enough time. It's like they did not. They didn't give enough time to any of the kids.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So Oprah, do you have any books? Like, what are you reading at the moment?
What am I reading at the moment? I'm actually reading. I've got a buddy coach. So because obviously I work by myself, I've got loads of women all over the world. We sort of egg each other on and say, "Come on, do this challenge." So I'm just reading a book by a lady called Jennifer Gilmore, and it's her book about escaping domestic violence. So that's what I'm reading at the moment. So it's really powerful. It's not what I normally read. I'm normally life coaching, psychology. Before that, I read The Habit of Breaking Yourself, I think it is, Joe Dispenza. So it's a bit quantum physics. So Dr. Strange at the cinema, and I went, wow, I need to understand quantum physics. So I got this book to understand it more. So so I've just read that, but now I'm reading. It's called The Isolation Junction. So so she was I think she was married, 3 children, domestic violence. So it's her story about escaping that.
Wow, very inspiring.
Yes,
very much so. So one last question. If you could give any top tip or a snippet of advice, just a sound bite for someone who feels that they need more confidence, what would you give them?
Oh, in a sound bite.
I know, right?
I would say give yourself a break, appreciate the good things about yourself, and just let go of the bad stuff, because you have the power to do that.
Yeah, you've almost summed up my tattoo. Relax, let go, and celebrate.
I haven't got it on today. Today I've got one that says she believed she could, so she did. So I've got that on. Yes. I do have one which was bought for me when I had my baby, for my first child, and it just says, take a lovely deep breath in. And that's what it is. So when I'm wearing that, you can tell those are the days I need to control my breathing.
Definitely. Jaelith, it's been absolutely amazing having you on here. How do we get in touch with you? The listeners and the people that are watching at home, how do they get in touch with you? If they have kids, they have teenagers that they want to work, tell us a bit about your services, about what you offer and where we can find you.
Yeah, no problem. I've got a website, so that would be the first port of call, and that's www.mrsmojo.co.uk. You can actually sign up to a free happiness kit on there. So I've got free meditation, colouring in sheets, lots of little tips that you can do with your child to get happy. My email address is coach@mrsmojo.co.uk. And if you fancy any of my books, I'm on Amazon as well, so you can search for my name on Amazon and see some of my writing.
And that's Jaelith Leigh Brown. So
Jaelith Leigh Brown. Do you know what I've got? I'll show you this one here. I'm in my office, so I have it. So there.
Amazing, the Happy Woman Fun Book.
Yeah.
Congratulations, that's absolutely wonderful. You know, it warms my heart so much to have so many people who are spreading the message of self-love. I think that, you know, for me, I very much feel that in order for us to heal the world, we need to heal ourselves first. And if there's no person around living life congruent with who we are, then the world becomes a much happier and better place. So from the bottom of my heart to yours, Jaelith, thank you for all the work that you do. You're doing absolutely wonderful stuff, and please continue on to do it, as I know that you will, because it's making the world a better place. So thank you. Guys, that's about it from us. Another episode of Katie on the Couch. As always, you can reach. I'm going to put Jaelith's details in the show notes here. So down the bottom in the comments for YouTube and in the show notes for our podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on here, Jaelith. Thank you so much. Go check out her stuff. She's an amazing and incredible woman. So thank you so much. Pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure's all mine.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed today's podcast and YouTube show. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. Thank you for your attention, and thank you for your eyes and ears. Hope that you got a lot out of it today. If you do know anybody, or if you yourself have an amazing story of confidence and self-worth, I'd love to hear from you. Just email loveyourself@moreconfidence.com.au. I will get that email immediately. I'll be in touch, and we can see if we can get you onto Katie's couch. Talk to you then.
Katie on the couch.